The inside scoop with Alex and Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. This is going to be a great episode. We got lots to talk about today and lots of fun stuff. You know, we're going to go all over the place this hour. And, one thing we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, KTOC Nationals, who just had their tournament yesterday. So big Sunday tournament. And from all the videos I saw, it looked like one of the biggest ones they've ever had. Place was packed. It was crowded, and lots of great talent, lots of good, competitors from all over, especially in the fighting divisions. So we are going to talk a lot about that. But first, hope you're doing well, Alex. Hope you had a great weekend. I was at a local tournament this weekend as well, and got to was hanging out with another main gang member, Angel Diaz. He was down here for this local tournament as well. So both of us won the adult grand championships. I won the weapons and forms, and he won the fighting. And then also our good friend Serafina Fish won the women's fighting. So we had a great time coaching.
Is she fighting adult locally, or what's going on?
Yeah, she's fighting adult. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So lots of great competitors, lots of great times, lots of fun. And man, I mean, I'll share more about that as well. But let's go ahead and start and talk about KTOC Nationals. So as again, you know what, neither of us were there. Trying to get some information from people. So guys, if you were at KTOC, let us know. I know there was several. I know on my team there was the Duartes that were there. There was Katie McMillan that was there. I know she won a weapons grand. And I think for the women, Rose Rume from Canada won the women's forms grand. Our main gang member won the 40 plus and the 18 plus weapons grand. That was Brett Shumway. So congrats to him. If you guys have not checked out his show, make sure you guys do that. The Traditional Way with Brett Shumway. It's a great show talking about the
all things CMX.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
That's awesome. All right, and then let's go back on the women's side. So Sue is sharing a lot of things. Brianna Nurse won the overall women's fighting.
Good.
Paola from new member of KTOC won the VFT overall. So great job for that, or open weight. And then Straight Up won the team sparring. So Straight Up, I believe Bailey, Tyreek, and Kevin. I believe that's right. And then women's teams, it looks like, was Brianna and Savannah. All right. So awesome. Tyreek Saint won open weight. Congrats to Ty. And awesome. Love it. Love all the great energy and everything going on. 2-person teams. Okay, got it. All right, so Bailey and Ty won 2-person teams. Great. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, I just shared that. Katie won Katie won forms, Rose won weapons. Okay. All right, awesome.
Thanks for the plug, Sue.
And Brett Shumway won the weapons, and also the forms was Caio De Silva won the forms. So
the kid's good. Good to see him competing more.
Oh, yeah. And one of the things is, too, like what Brett shared on our text earlier was, like that dude, it's just always a pleasure to watch him. And he really, in a lot of ways, I think, and I agree with him, too, he's probably the best Shotokan competitor in the United States. Like, watching him is just, and the way that he does Shotokan forms is amazing. So, congrats to Ramon. He won the forms and the point fighting grands. you guys don't know, like Ramon Fernandez is amazing. This dude, one thing, that dude never gets out of shape. That dude is still chiseled. Like
And
it's
he still looks like he's 23.
I know. It's nuts. It's nuts.
I mean, part of that's because maybe it's because he's Puerto Rican and they all look 23. But
Dude,
no,
it's
I gotta
crazy.
tell you, like his energy, it's
Oh,
always
it is.
100%.
It is. I love it, man. I love it. That dude is one of my favorite people. And his
He's always
forms, like his forms have gotten better this year. I'm telling you, man. It's like they've gotten better. He looked awesome at US Open, and he looked awesome this weekend. So, congrats, man. Congrats to him. Yeah, I agree.
No, Sam, you're right. Like
Yeah.
I still think of him as a velocity guy. Isn't that funny? There's certain guys that like, with teams that like, even if they didn't have a long stint with that team, like you just kind of always think of them as like someone who's on that team. Like I do think of like Ramon as like a velocity guy. Like I remember like Mark Canonizato. Like I never, even though he was on Paul Mitchell for like, I don't know, over a decade, I
He's
still thought of him as a straight up. Exactly. He's a straight up guy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's usually whatever you see them first, right? A lot of times.
Not always though. Like, what would you think? All right, we're sidetracking, but I love this topic. What would you look at John Su? Like, what is he? Oh,
that's an easy one.
different.
Well, all right. I know John Su as Compete, right? Red Dragon. That's what I know him as first.
Is that what you think of him as?
No, I think it was as Jungle Care first. Is what I think it was. Jungle Care first, because that was what the first.
I know. No, you know what?
And then the whole him and Alex Safransky, like that was iconic, especially for those 2 years they did that. Man.
Oh, for sure. All right. Al took
time out. We hadn't got to the to the men's fighting. So D, he's saying D won the overalls. Yes. So D won overalls. I think when she means that Darren Payne, right?
Yeah, D Stacks, Darren Payne won the overall. Good to see that long left leg winning some more.
Awesome. So congrats to KTOC. I hear it was one of the best attended, but also best ran events. So it's this launched the new Northeast region for Sport Karate USA. So excited to see that. They just released that today, their whole schedule for that. So this was the first one of that year. So it's exciting to see, we've said it for a long time that league has been one of the best regional leagues there is. And so now they're spreading their wings, and going to other areas. So it's really awesome.
I'll make an argument and make this statement here. I think it might be one of the best regional circuits of all time.
Yeah.
And there's some periods where like some of the RSKC
I would say
circuits were like, all right, come on now, let's talk about them. Right. And I think, remember, I wasn't an NBL guy, but I think
there's
like
certain
NBL region 8. I wasn't region 8, wasn't that one a deep one?
So we didn't have numbers for ours.
I thought it was region. I thought it was numbers.
No, that was like the Karate Illustrated, and then NASCA's regions were numbers.
Okay.
We had, like the Dixie Conference, and we had the, like the Blue Ridge Conference. We had different ones like that.
You did it like NCAA football. Dang.
Yeah, exactly. So that was so again, I agree. There were certain conferences that were like, okay, this is legit. Or the national.
Then you tell me which one was
the Can-Am Conference was amazing, but the Westpac Conference was also like those two conferences in different eras, like completely different types of competition, right?
Well, tell me which one was probably the best. Like if you're gonna go, all right, if I can only pick one, it would be.
It's two different reasons. Honestly, even though I was a promoter in it later on, Can-Am probably had the best competition. Westpac was the best ran. It was the best overall organized league that I've probably ever been a part of. And then I took a lot of those things, and so did Ryan Kane, and we took a lot of those and applied those to our tournaments when we got that spot to be national tournament. So, yeah. Who's this? Oh, so sorry, I've been getting all kinds of messages today, and I'll explain that in a little bit later too, as part of the show. But yeah, Micah loved the Can-Am as well. Yeah, Can-Am was awesome. So for me, those were great regions. I would say RSKC is definitely one. Like honestly, some people, the original Basca, which is now called the League.
Bay
They
Area.
had a lot. You look at some of the Texas leagues, just a lot of awesome, great regional leagues. So,
the Basco always kind of was like, yeah, we get it, but you need a different name.
well, yeah, that's why
you can't be called that, right? Not that it's bad. Like we get it, like Bay Area Sport Karate Association. Like, yeah, that's sure, 100%.
Right.
It's too close to something else, man.
Yeah, man. There's so many ones that come to my mind now that like I forgot about until we just brought this up, right?
But let's circle back. Look at me trying to keep us on track. Who am I, right?
Wow.
But whatever you're about to bring up, like the current state of USA Sport Karate,
yeah,
I don't think anything is better than that,
right?
Because USA Sport Karate, when it started, because remember it was the Blitz League. Okay.
Blitz.
Also, cool name for a league. We
Yeah.
get it. Cool name, right?
Yep.
But then changes it to USA Sport Karate.
Yeah, they joined with one of the other ones.
So then now, and it just became so well run. And it also, he didn't, Jeremy Roque didn't say this. Damien said it. We've been echoing it over and over and over. It's the culture, right? Competition culture.
Yep.
That really has a massive amount to do with it. But now it's not just that southeastern part of the country. Now it's grown, and he's really taking it into different areas. So, and I'm gonna give like a small little insight as to, well, we all know NASCA to be like the standard. It's the number one circuit. It's where if you want to be like a top level competitor, or you aspire to be competing and test your skills, like you have to do it against those competitors because that's just where they are. Right. So let's go back in time, and we're going to talk about Larry Carnahan because he's the president of NASCA. Okay. So I'm going to go back in time, and I promise I'll try and make it as short as I can. Okay. So at this time, they have the National Karate is not called National Karate. It's called Mid-America Karate. Okay. And that is when, they then started, the tournament that eventually became the Diamond Nationals. It had a really, remember what Mr. Worley said it was called? It was called, this is not, I'm making it up. The first year, because they didn't think they were going to have a second year, they called it the Everything You Wanted to Know About Karate, but were too afraid to ask a karate guy tournament.
Yeah.
Right. And then they were just like, okay, well, I guess if we're going to have it another year, we're not going to call it this thing. Let's call it the Mid-America Nationals, which eventually became the Diamond Nationals. So as business partners, they both looked at this, both meaning John Worley and Larry Carnahan, and they go, okay, well, we can't both put our focus in both areas. So Mr. Worley, I'm always going to call him Mr. Worley, but I'm John Worley. Okay. He really kind of headed the business side of and their schools. Not that Larry Carnahan wasn't. I mean, he very well involved and had had schools that like he was just in charge of that were flourishing. Yes. But Larry Carnahan looked at this and said, like, I really see a future with martial arts competition. And I just feel like this is where a legacy could be had.
Yeah.
And he just put it there and like has not let go. It has not stopped. I mean, at one point everyone has to at some point, but I mean, man, to have the foresight to say like, this is going to be something that's going to be great for years and years to come, and to be voted in by your peers to be the president of that organization is a massive get too. That's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like I got two heads?
I don't know. We'll have to do another story on that one. But yeah. So but yeah,
This,
so
stuff I don't know. All right, this stuff I don't know. All right.
I don't think so.
Moving on.
I thought that had already been shared on the show, but okay.
I thought we had, but I'm giving a sum up, Jeff.
Yes, I know. So awesome guys. Again, just big ups to the Diaz's. That first tournament of the new region for Sport Car USA. Also, that first qualifier for WKC USA. So, anyone that's there, who stood out to you? You know, who won big? Who were some of the people that stood out? I want to hear that. Who were some of your favorite what were some of your favorite performances? Okay.
You know, I really kind of wanted to be at this tournament.
Yeah, me too.
And it's so hard for me to be at events.
Yeah.
Because of my other businesses that are here. It's like, no, they're on the weekends. Like, that's the big thing. Except this weekend, like, I didn't have any events that I was, personally running. But this weekend, she's not in the chat that I can see. But like, my mom was in town this weekend because it was grandparents' day at my kids' school. So my mom was like, boom, I'm going to be there. So she was here all weekend, and it was entertaining.
All right. So
okay, but yeah, put it on the calendar now. Like, we got to know now. I got to know. Like, when tournaments put their date out like 4 months in advance, like, that's not enough time. Like, I need 2026's calendar now, right? I need 2026's calendar.
So Leandro's saying Bailey and D Stacks were some of his favorite watching. Sam said Brianna had a great weekend controlling her fight, so that's great to hear and see. And like, she still just shines when she's in her home area, and I love seeing that. So
Look at what you're saying. She shines in her home area.
Yep.
Just gotta be some people, like, there's reasons why people really thrive, in certain areas or settings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
just saying, Brianna, we've talked. I think she's very talented. I think she's fantastic.
Yes. All right. Before I get into, all right. Well, I'm going to do this sharing. This topic is just sharing your struggle. So I'm going to share just, today, like, I put a post out today, or actually it was yesterday, last night. This weekend had been, marked 3 years of me, being sober, not drinking any alcohol for 3 years, really just completely focusing on, getting rid of that from my life. Right. Yeah. And it's just incredible. Not only, all the likes and the comments and stuff and the congratulations, that's great. In the past, when I've done it, I just put like 1 year, 2 years, but this year I feel like, like, I need to actually get more detail into this and share what I'm talking about. There's no alcohol, this, and really put that, God's using me to share my struggles so that way I can help other people. And the amount of private messages I've gotten, man, and a lot of martial artists, just telling me that, thank you for sharing that. Some not knowing that I had any of those, that it was something that I felt like I needed to get rid of in my life that I was struggling with. And also people tell me, well, that's great, because I always feel like I'm alone in the martial arts community because all of us are so, goal oriented, goal focused. We act like we got everything together, and a lot of us do, but not saying we all do. A lot of us do that. We act like we have everything together.
Yeah.
Put on a great show and put on a great face to hide it. But there's a lot of things that we hide, and so I think it's been really cool today to just get those feedbacks. I've had at least just 10 different people from the martial arts world that's just reached out to me and had some talks with me about maybe they're dealing with it themselves, or they have a loved one that they're dealing with, and how, some steps, to take to help with that. And for me, like, it's easy for me because I have my faith, right? And I always had my faith. So for many people dealing with alcoholism or drugs, a lot of them do not, right? So that's really a tough thing.
Sure.
So talk to, so again, I'm here for anyone who wants to talk about that. If you're dealing with a family member that's going through it, if you're dealing with yourself going through it, a lot of, and the thing is, guys, don't be afraid to share that stuff. I think we're so worried about, like being vulnerable. Like, dude, that's a superpower. All right. Like, be vulnerable. Like, that's how we all grow. So just want to share that. So I think a lot of us, we need to just, it's okay to share your struggles. So that way, because that's how we're being used, right? To connect with other people and help them grow. So
I feel like the way you approached this was the best way, because like you did come out like right away, and
right.
you didn't say nothing. All right. You had a tough time with what it's, and I don't want to say like you had a tough time dealing with that struggle, although if it's a struggle, it's not an easy time, right?
Right.
But like you had some stuff that like you had to navigate with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not, the easiest thing.
No.
But you didn't woe is me. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do none of that. But you also didn't put all of that on your shoulders and went like, see, I can handle it all. See, I can get through it. You didn't do that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were able to handle it because, and I want to, and this might sound strange to people, you were able to handle it because you weren't.
Exactly.
Right? Because, and that's the hardest thing, man.
Yep.
The things that we look at and we go, okay, I got that. I can handle that. That's a lot of times is the enemy. Like, all right, I got this. I can do that. For me, it's always been, the struggle has always been, for whatever it's been, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's never been this massive thing, but it's been a bunch of little things. And I got. And then at the end of the day, I got absolutely nothing, right?
Yep.
Because of that. But you didn't approach it that way.
Right.
You approached it and were able to handle it because you knew you weren't, because you knew you couldn't, right?
Yeah, I had to let go. Yeah.
I remember you saying that to me. You're like, just under my life, I just had to let go, right? And so then if you got to let go, then that means you got to hold on to something else. Jesus, right?
Yep.
So exactly. So because you were able to cling to Jesus in these times, that enabled you to let go of this.
Right.
And you can't, because you can't hang on to both at the same time.
Nope. That's
what I mean?
Where, that's where my relationship with Jesus, with God, like struggled at times, because I was still holding to this one thing. Well, this is just my one thing that, I've let everything else go, but I'm going to hold on to this one thing because it's all right. I did everything else right. I'm in shape. I'm super healthy. I go to church. I working on this, working on that, but like, you know what? Like, you're still putting something else first, even though maybe I didn't think it was first, but like you're still holding on to something as a crutch, right?
It was like double-minded.
Blocks you. Say again?
It was like being double-minded.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. You're right.
Yeah. And like in the James chapter 1, the Bible talks about how if you're double-minded, you'll be like a boat tossed in the sea. All right. Because you're just unable to, be focused on one thing because you're double-minded. You're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. Yeah. That's good.
So again, I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
So I had a friend, you get like friends who are not in martial arts, but they're friends with you, and they're able to look at things with a totally different viewpoint. This person says, he goes, you ever notice this, Alex, that like the moment like you're like, boom, you got this thing together, you got this, like that's like when you have the worst success. What the hell are you trying to say? What the hell is that all about? Because just think about it. Like, and never when you're just like when you're training and when you're competing, like right when like that season, like you're like, oh, I got this, and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. I've gotten this, I've hit this milestone, Like, I am literally about untouchable right now. You ever notice that that's when like God decides you suck right now?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why you gotta say it like that?
Right. So true, man. It definitely is. All right, guys. So the next part we're going to talk about, let's talk about the age rule, right? So we're hearing some rumors. So if people don't know, this year NASCA finally implemented a rule where if you were turning 18 in this upcoming calendar year, or the competition season, you're 17, you're turning 18, no matter when, if it's after June or whatever, you can go ahead and move up early, right? That was for forms, right? I don't think that was the case for fighting. They still didn't want, if you're under 18, to not compete in fighting.
There's a liability thing with that.
Yeah.
That's why.
But then also, as soon as you turn 18, you have to move up, no matter if it's before the cutoff of June 30th or after. No matter what, you have to move up. So now there's a lot of rumors going around that they're going to, after 1 year having this rule, they're going to reverse that. So, which seems crazy to me. Why do all that, right? I don't think there was anything wrong with people moving up, especially in forms at 17. Many people believe that they should be able to do it at 16, and you know what? Like, for me, keeping certain people, especially in, even in forms, I mean, in fighting definitely, but in forms, there are people that dominate. And you know what? Keeping them down another year, it really make it to where they may stop, like you're actually hindering their growth in many ways, right? Some people now, they get up there, they don't cut it, but that's fine. That's a good thing for them to learn, right? Where they're at, what level they need to go to. So I definitely think that they should keep that age rule, and that should be something that everyone, email people, email if you have questions, you have something about a rule, email NASCA guys, email Larry Carnahan and those guys about it, and
then tell us what everyone
the
said.
response was.
I want to know. I want the juice.
So what do you think about that, Alex? What do you think about the age rule? Do you think they should keep it as well, what they have?
Well, for them to make the rule and then go, wait a minute, we got to go back. That leads me to believe that there was attorneys involved to say, like, you can't do this. There's no way you can't do this. There's going to be a liability for this. I have no information about this, by the way. This is all speculation, right? That you can't what would you say? Double-minded, right?
Right.
And have a double standard. You can't say, oh, it's okay if this competitor,
Right,
wants to do semi-contact, sparring, and this competitor has no contact
correct.
for forms, right? Like you can't do them both. Like it's really not okay. So
Right.
that's where it's like, which one is it going to be? It doesn't look like you have a standard. It looks like your standards can, come and go as you choose.
Right.
That's what I would think happened. Now, what do I think should probably happen? I think what we should probably do is just do the don't ask, don't tell. Oh, I'm being sincere. I'm being
I know.
totally sincere about this, right? Listen. All right. Let's go to the NCAA right now. Okay. So there was always the thing of, listen, kids are getting paid to play football, to play basketball, or whatever sport, pretty much just football and basketball, because those are the ones that bring in money. Right. So they're getting paid to go to these universities, and sometimes would take a pay cut to go pro because they were making so much more over there. Right. So now they can get paid, right? Now it's like, okay, that's fine. You can make money off your likeness and you can actually get yada da da money from the university to go. So then the university can say, okay, great. Well, now here we go. We'll give you $20,000
Right.
if you come play wide receiver for our school. All right, and we're going to give you 5 now, and then once the season starts, we're going to do this. And you know what they do? They don't give them nothing.
Right.
They don't give them nothing. And then you go, wait a minute, what happened to this? And then we're like, no, we changed our mind. Now you can't switch schools. Now you're screwed. So then it was better. It was better when it was like, listen, let's just understand that sometimes stuff happens like this.
Right.
And let's just leave it alone. Those that are going to do it are going to do it. Those that aren't. Nobody's going to get hurt. All right. It's just, I would like to pay this person to play baseball here. Go ahead and pay them. If that's up to them, it's their personal choice if they want to do that. Now, if somebody wants to get into the ethics of it, sure, you can have that argument, but that's up to that person's personal choice as to whether or not they want to do that. So now going to this, now we're sort of circling back. Look at me, keeping us back on track again. All right. So I know. I took us on a journey. All right. But now we understand that sometimes really highly skilled, talented junior fighters could, in some ways should, start fighting adult now. Right. And some people want to say, like, listen, it's putting that teenager in danger because now they're not an adult, but then you're putting them in to combat with an adult. But then you also have to look at the situation. You might be putting these other teenagers in danger, knowing that you have this, like, man child over here. Yeah, he might be 17, but it looks like he's 25, right? So let's put him over here, which, listen, that stuff exists. So it may be better. And to just say, listen, if you think you can hack it, you'll go do it. Like, we're just not going to say nothing. We're not going to turn a blind eye. We all kind of have, there's no secrets in this sport. There's no secrets, right? We either decide, listen, we want to blow the whistle, or we don't. Okay. And I think the same thing with the forms thing's way harder to do than fighting, right? Because there's no such thing as someone who's kind of known in forms, kind of not known. Like, everybody knows every single detail of everyone there, right? It's impossible. With fighters, sometimes they come and go. Like, you can be the number one fighter this season, right? Like, you could have never been around and boom, you could do it right now, right? So it's a little different there. And it can come and go a lot quicker. So, but I just think it would be better if we went to the don't ask, don't tell. Just leave it at that.
All right.
What do other people think? All right. You guys want to have it in black and white with everything, or you want to just understand that this stuff happens and go to don't ask, don't tell?
All right. So also putting the adult who is fighting the under adult in jeopardy, perhaps league. That could happen. The thing is, what I'm saying though is that, guys, we also are in a it's called point karate. It's not a knockout sport. So we're not putting, so if you're worried about them moving up to that, then maybe you need to work on the control of your sport, right? That's something that I would say. And then, but again, I don't understand why the forms competitors, aren't allowed to move up. That part doesn't make any sense to me. So I think we need to keep pushing that. At least 17. I mean, I think it could be more than that. I think if you're 17, you should be able to move up. But I understand the whole thing of if you're turning 18 that year, that should definitely, be it. So the because again, especially if your birthday is after, say it's in July, well, okay, that's half the season. You compete as a junior, and then you have to move up. You're forced to move up to 18 after that. So you might as well just compete as 18 all year long, and that way at least you have a full season for your points and everything else. Just make it one. The other thing I like is you compete whatever you're going to be as at the end of the year. So you're competing as your birth year. That's what I think is a good one as well, right? That way, you in some ways you could be technically competing up, but it's fine.
So like in your
Like
scenario,
in
because
Waco, like my situation, my birthday is Christmas Day, right? In Waco and AAU, I've been 40 all year long. I've been competing as a 40-year-old in NASCA and WKC, but in Waco and AAU, I've been competing as 41. Okay, all year long because that's the birth year, right? Because I turned 41 this year. So I think that's a good one to do. So that way you're in that situation where you can move up and you're just in, so and we don't have that problem. But yeah, who knows, right? So that's always a great topic. Hopefully we find out soon what the rules are on this, because guess what? Everyone is trying to go ahead and register for AKA, and then people may register and then rules change and they have to change what they do, right? That's going to be crazy. So go ahead and because there's also the rule too that they're going to make it to where say if you're a third, like in my case, this rule actually affects me, a 40-year-old, that if I'm doing traditional, I can't do 30 plus traditional forms and 40 plus traditional forms. I have to pick one age group. But then I could go and do traditional weapons in 30, but I can't do both. But for traditional forms, I could do 40. Whichever one, I have to pick one. Now, does that, and the thing is trying to figure it out, does that mean that I could do 18 plus Korean and do one of those traditional? Or does that mean because Korean is a traditional, I can't do the senior traditional forms? I can only do the 18 plus. So I think when we're getting really picky on that, that's where it gets a little too complicated and confusing. So yeah, that's hard. but yeah. So there's all those questions, right? So here's my thing is we got to make these decisions in the middle of the year. So that way people are already prepared. Like, I believe that the rules for 2025 should have already been put out at US Open for the next year. We have 6 months in advance, right? And then now we do the same thing for the next year. So that's the middle of the year. They have a big meeting at Battle. They finalize everything. Everything's done at US Open. And that way people know.
I agree with you. I think that probably is the best thing to do moving forward, but that's like the plus, and that's like the upside, the downside to the way that really, as like a sport, that we kind of govern things. If we think something should be the case, we just change the rule right then and there. Sometimes too quickly, and sometimes for things like decades too late, right? But yeah, I agree with you. Like if we were looking at the age rule thing, it should have been agreed upon. It should have been finalized. And then it probably should have been announced probably at US Open or at least Capital Classic, right? Somewhere around there. So if you did that in let's say August, right? Or even September, right? September at the latest. So now that gives you months. That gives you 3-4 months to be like, this is what we do now, right?
Correct.
Whereas if we change the rule, and this is what was happening for so many of those things. How many years in a row now have we had a little tweak to rules 2 weeks out in front of AKA, right? And we're like, wait a minute. So this, what does that mean now? So that means now I have to, but then can I also, and then because so many people, both officials and competitors, are doing the same thing, nobody quite has it down, perfectly. So it ends up being like 3 tournaments in before we really get it right anyway.
Yeah, so people really know.
Which would have been the case if we would have just said no back in September.
Yep. Again, I just think make it in the middle. That way people know and are aware. So
yeah.
One thing to shout out before Amanda Duarte is going to be on another talk show tomorrow. So she's going to be on the NYC in New York City, the Sherry Show. So check her out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's a big show in the New York City. So if you guys are in that area, probably all the Northeast. I'm sure you could be able to watch that. So check that out tomorrow morning. She's been on a lot of shows lately, so congrats to her, and keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Where to go?
So that's going on tomorrow.
Have you
10
ever been on a
a.m.
TV show?
Eastern time. Sure. What'd you say?
Have you ever been on a TV show?
Nothing like that.
Even if it's like, no, I don't mean like national. I mean like, even if it's like small town, like cable public, like Wayne's World level.
You know what I was on? They did an interview with me at the American Gladiator show.
Stop.
Yeah, so me and Jonathan
How
Hillman,
cool.
Jeff Smith were there, and it was after US Open, and we went to like this was back after the show really was big, and so they had their own little like dinner theater thing, but they interviewed us for the live audience, but then they would put those shows on the cable channels, right? Troy session was Slime Time.
No, Troy, how did I not know this? That was so cool. Wait a minute. How am I just hearing about this? Troy, did you get slimed? I have to. Oh my gosh. Would that have been cool? I mean, you must have been like in the audience though. You weren't actually a contestant though. There's no way.
No. They brought us in. They found out who we were, and then they brought us on the show. And
okay.
Yeah.
I was doing too many things at once. I was talking about you and Troy at the same time.
Yeah. Right.
Just for now. Okay. So wait a minute. So they brought you guys on.
Yeah.
And then
asked
us so cool. American Gladiators.
What we were there for, that we both won national championships that day, and we're
national TV.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I think maybe.
Okay, now I gotta hear it. Now I gotta hear from Troy. So wait a minute, Troy. This is crazy. So you were on Nickelodeon getting slimed. Like you actually got slimed. There's no way. He said he did.
Come on.
Did you ever watch that as a kid, Jeff?
Yeah. He said, wait, oh yeah, he got slimed, but did they bring him on?
So he wasn't in the audience. He was like one of the contestants.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's cool. He said they shot it out of a squirt gun. Okay. All right.
So cool. That's like what they say. Did you ever, because obviously we never got slimed. Did you ever watch that, Jeff, and be like, dude, I wonder who was like being slimed. Getting slimed would be so cool, man. Right? I totally thought that all the time. Like, oh man, that looks nasty, but yet it would be so cool. A trivia bit. God, that's awesome, man.
That's cool.
How am I just learning about this? Of years of friendship, I never knew any of this. I actually fault you. This is boo on you. But good for the show. Thank you for sharing that on the show, actually.
Oh man. All right, so I gotta share something. So again, I'd share. We were at the Premier 8 Championships in Martinsville, Virginia. Fun tournament. I won the weapons grand with my traditional bow, which most people don't really see me do, very often. So that was fun. Then I did my traditional forms. So I did like 4 forms that weekend. And then I had 17 students that were competing. So we won, I think our school won like 5 grand championships, lots of first places. My nephew competed his 3rd tournament, really his 2nd bigger tournament, you know what I mean? Like at least with more competitors.
How old is he now?
He's 9. So he's starting to get it, man, as far as like the intensity, the yelling, and like when today he was telling me, he's like, I know, but like when I get to a tournament, I start doing stuff I don't normally do. Like my body just takes over. It gets crazy. I'm like, oh, all right. Because I'm like, yeah,
nice.
I've never seen you kick that high ever until like this weekend. He was like, yeah, I know. It's awesome, huh? It's like, it's so funny. But like he'll sit with me and watch things. And I'll be coaching other people and he'll just kind of sit and listen, ask questions. Or we had like even just funny stuff. Like we have 2 of our students doing a team form, right? And they're doing Go to Shio show. And they're, doing that segment, that part where they cross their legs to go like this, right? And he goes, I thought you weren't supposed to cross your legs in karate. You tell me that all the time, sensei. I'm like, yeah, this is different. That's he's like, you always tell me don't cross my legs when I'm sparring. When I'm like, you're right. You're right. I'm telling you that you are right. You're not wrong. So it's just funny because he's noticing things like that and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here, there, right? So it's pretty funny. But
so he's starting to put together. He's like, so he's going, because before this kind of like,
right.
epiphany, he's just been like, okay, I'll do what you say. Okay,
Yep.
I'll do what you say. Yep, I did good. Yep, I tried harder. Now he's like, oh no, watch this. Did you see what I did there? That's really cool.
Yeah. And so
It's
he
like a
won
light
his
bulb moment. That's
he won
great.
his sparring division. And I think he was super shocked about it. He's like, I didn't expect to win sparring. Wow, and so it was cool. And had some good competition. And it was just a fun weekend for him. Then I taught a bunch of private lessons on yesterday. And man, it's been really cool with some of the different people I've been getting to teach, right? I've been getting to teach a lot of people from the AAU Taekwondo circuit that are getting ready to do AKA and doing some other stuff, and just really it's crazy. A lot of times I forget how much I know, you know what I mean? Like how much I've been involved in this sport, like, and then when I explain it, I'm like, does that make sense to you? And they're like, oh no, that makes so much sense, but I've never heard anyone else say it that way. I'm like, oh, okay, why not? Like, it's like, but there's just different levels to this. And so it's really exciting just to see that. And to just, that everything that I've learned over the years is it's for a reason. Right. So it's pretty cool. All right. One thing that I saw this weekend, there's a lot of stuff when you go to local tournaments, especially in Virginia and North Carolina, man. It's always crazy. And I love all the old school judges and everything. And I mean, but some of them are wild, right?
Sure.
But one of the things I've never seen before, and I don't think it was on purpose, but
Wait to hear this.
Like a straight up reverse punch, standing straight up, that went right to the nuts, right? Like a straight up reverse punch to the nuts. Like someone got punched in the nuts, but like their chamber was up high at this person's head.
And
this person just went straight boom. Yeah. And I don't think they meant to. It was just like, it just kind of happened like that. And it was the craziest thing. And yeah.
I've actually seen something like that before.
And I was like, oh. And I was filming everything for my son because he was supposed to fight, but he had to leave to go to his younger brother's birthday party. And so he's just like, film everything. I'm like, okay. And so we're filming stuff, and Shelly and I are sitting there filming, and both of us are filming. And I'm just like, oh, that's the nuts. Oh, that's the nuts. And she keeps like kicking me like, shut up. And the first fight of the time, like I've been there for a long, I've been in this league and in this sport for a long time. And a lot of the center refs, they're either came up with me or they are way above me, but they're still like, because I've competed with them as an adult. Right. And one of the centers was just really getting on anyone about not even really late hitting, but just like following through. Like, you do your back fist and you're kind of, your body, you just blitz through them and your body kind of just hits them. He wasn't really hitting after, but I mean, he was getting on people about it. And it was kind of like, all right, come on. Because but he wasn't doing that with like, this dude got kicked in the nuts 3 times, right? And I'm sitting there like yelling, yo, he just got kicked in the nuts 3 times, but you're going to yell at him about something else, like make it equal, right? And so Shelly's like, shut up, stop causing him saying. I was like, watch this. I'm going to go up and talk to him about it. and I did, and he took it well. And I was like, I'm just telling you, like, it's going to get worse when these other coaches come up and you're not being equal on this, or you're really pushy on this one, but not this one. And guess what happened? It was, you got You got some coaches that are really going to stand up for that, and you got to make sure that you're not pushing on one side and not the other, or you're so focused on this one infraction, but you're not focused on another. I think that to me is something that our sport needs to get better at, and centers overall need to get better at. Like low kicks,
I agree with you.
That's such a bad thing. Like we need to control it. I mean, I understand it's accident, but we need to make sure we do the best we can to because that is a really bad injury. There's a lot of options that could, knees being taken out, a lot of personal problems later on with things like that. You don't want that to happen.
Well, and the other thing is, okay, like when he was talking about the following through, the reason why you absolutely need to has nothing to do with the contact you're bringing to the person that you're making contact with. It has nothing to do with them. I was literally talking about this today, like a couple hours ago, right?
Yeah.
If you don't completely follow through and you strike them and then you don't, you're now standing in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
The person you just hit, guess what the heck they're going to try to do now, right? And now they hit you, right? So unless you plan to just like tap them and get out, like there's no way you could get out in time. There's no way, right? So you have to follow through and go through like chest to chest with them as the only way to protect yourself. Because if you don't and you just do it enough to where you strike them and then you're in front of them, they now can strike you. So you have to hit them. It's almost like Taekwondo, like not Taekwondo now, like 90s and early 2000s Taekwondo, right? Where they would just chest bump each other and just push chests, right? Because that was the only safe place.
Right. Yep. You're right. All right. So those are just some things that are fun. All right. So we're going to do what we're thankful for. Then we're going to share what's going on this weekend and just keep it short.
Yeah.
We're going to end this show pretty early. We should be at an hour today. So, all right.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Thankful for, what are you thankful for in martial arts or karate?
I'm going to bring it. There's a lot I'm thankful for. But because
guys in the comments, put what you're thankful for as well. We want this
absolutely
engagement.
But because this is a martial arts competition based podcast, we're going to keep it pretty much centered on that. And and I'm going to talk about people, all right? Because there's a lot of things that I'm grateful for and thankful for, all right? So some of the people that I am very thankful for, John Worley and Larry Carnahan, I can't be thankful enough for them, right? So, and people won't know so much, but like the different ways that like I really grew up with them. They really saw me grow up, and like it's the relationships I have with them is like so important. But now as we get to the competition side of things, man, I'm grateful for people like not people like I am grateful for Coach Conroy. Right. I'm grateful for Coach Conroy, and I wasn't one of his competitors for a long stint. Right.
Correct.
So I was grateful for him long before I was one of his competitors. Right. Because I stole a lot of his coaching things and I just used them. Right. And I just always watching long before I was ever going to be in that seat. Like I was always watching. So grateful for him. Grateful for like friends like Greg Betlock, right? Very grateful for him. Grateful for friends like BJ Carnahan. Also grateful for I'm going to say this. People don't give him a lot of credit. I'm very grateful for Raymond Daniels, all right, for so many things. But he is just there's been few times where he's reached out to me, not a lot, few times, and we just kind of chatted about a couple of things. But even anytime we got to chat like in person, like he's so freaking smart, right? And I wish I had an opportunity to just train with him and figure this stuff out before the losses happened, so that like I could really figure that out. Grateful for Catherine Miller, right? Love that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a different thing I'm thankful for.
Uh-oh.
I am very thankful for when in my competition times for kickers who had lazy chambers. I am very thankful. Thank you for letting me kick you because you had a lazy chamber. I'm very thankful for that. Right? I'm thankful for flat-footed heavyweights who didn't move. Thank you. Because you would have hit me, but because you couldn't move, thank you. All right. I'm thankful for people who didn't follow up techniques, would have attacks and would stop. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to hit you. All right. Thank you. I am thankful for crazy athletes with zero creativity, right? Who just did what somebody else did.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you
for allowing me to beat you. Because if you had an ounce of creativity, I would have no chance. Thank you. You didn't see that coming, did you? You kind of did.
I kind of did. But I loved it. I loved it. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome.
Baton handed to you, my friend.
Oh, is it my
Follow
turn?
that one up. Yeah.
All right. So what are you thankful for in martial arts? Again, for me, I would go again, like you said, my instructors, Lawrence Arthur, Johnny Watkins, Preston Rogers, those guys. I'm thankful for Coach Conroy. I'm thankful for Spencer Arrington, for
That's a good one.
Facilitating me meeting all of these people in my life who continue to respect me, build me up, encourage me, all those things, learn from all those. I'm thankful for someone like, an Eddie Thomas who taught John Valera, a Charlie Lee, a John Chung, June Ree, all those, everyone that's kind of, John Valera for being my coach, but everyone that was before them, right? A Stephen Ho, who to me I still put in my top 5 because of the creativity he did, and he inspired a lot of different people, and still inspired me. Seneca Luther, of course, my family and all the support they've done for me. I'm thankful for a boy Slidell. I'm thankful for Nazca and Larry Carnahan. I'm thankful for those guys. I'm thankful for my competitors, like a Butch Marks, like a Jennifer Santiago, like a Jesse Jones, like a Daryl Lewis, Bear Lobe, Edgar, Tim Conkle, all these guys, Kevin Kawachi, everybody, there's so many, right? Joey Castro, all these guys that continue to push me. It's, like we had talked before, I've been around so long that I have so many different rivals, right? Like, and for many,
100%. 100%.
And it's just, and then, thankful for people like Jason Borelli, Damon Gilbert, Freddie LePan, my captains, Akin Williams, Jesse Ray, these guys that I looked up to, Trevor Nash, that continue to grow. Friends like Casey Marks Nash, Lauren Carney, these people that still I keep in touch with, and I can send a text out of nowhere with a joke about something that happened 30 years ago and they'd get it, they know exactly what I'm talking about, things like that. Right. So yeah, I mean, it's wild, just all the different things that martial arts has taught me and helped me with. But also, like the leagues too. I think we gotta, we gotta just be thankful for all those opportunities. Like your regional league you started with, like it's what got you, to where you are today. I had a great conversation with Reagan Campbell and her mom. Reagan competes she competes NASCA, and she's competed all over. She's won an overall grand on NASCA, and she is on AmeriKick. But I saw her this weekend, this local tournament, because that was one of the first tournaments they went to. They've always gone to it. And she said, you know what, like, this still like teaches you where you came from, you know, like, and you come here and people see that, hey, it can happen, you know. They put that 2 and 2. And people still ask me, like, why do you still compete at these local tournaments? You're you know, outclassing them. This isn't your competition. It's like, well, yeah. And I'm not doing it to beat all you guys. I'm doing it to encourage you that you can keep doing this, you know. I mean, I'm doing this because if I don't do it, honestly, like, the promoter like gets upset. They want to see me compete. They want me to be there to inspire other people. You know, and the highest competitors in the world were still competing at local tournaments when I was moving up to adults. And that's what got me there, right? Everybody needs to earn it, right? And the truth is like, that's the best. Like, again, I'm still thankful for local tournaments where you have that pressure that everyone's trying to beat you, right? Like, that's a huge thing. It's like just the right amount of pressure, but not enough, right? And it's a great way for you to try new things, a great way, you know, as much as we say we wish everybody was more unified, we also really need these tournaments that are, you know, do their own thing a little bit, you know?
We absolutely need the local tournaments, though. We need the regionals.
So,
and here's a great way. If you're like, I don't know, is my regional tournament? Am I just a guy who's like me? Is my regional tournament that good? When you are going to XYZ national tournament and you're at the airport and you notice 6 to 8, 9 other people at the airport around the same time that are fellow competitors, that's when you can look at this and go, dang,
we
never
came
mind.
up.
Maybe we actually have a pretty good thing here.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's huge, right? And so there's so many things and more things I'm thankful for. You know, I'm thankful for Cannell Lovelace Revolution, all my great friends. But I'm thankful for people, like you said, that just followed the formula. You know what? I'm thankful for those people that can't change on a dime and make up a form on the spot, you know, or if something is not perfect or new, or they find out the rules and they don't know how to, you know, change that, you know, like, dude, like, to me, that is something that I've learned. And I think all of us need to learn, you know, learn to adapt, you know. So there's so many things like that, but, I'm also thankful for my experience of being a promoter. And how that helps me as a competitor and a coach.
You should be thankful for the Beastie Boys.
Yes, I'm thankful for the Beastie Boys. I'm thankful for what was that website back in the day? E-Bombs World. E-Bombs World.
E-Bombs World. Why E-Bombs World?
There were so many videos that we took funny things from and stuff from back then and put them in our forums.
Okay. Yeah.
College Humor. Sorry. collegehumor.com.
Totally forgot about those websites.
Yeah. MySpace. I
thought you were going to say something like bylang.com.
There's that too. Bylang, martial arts tricks, you know,
yeah.
Yellow Boy, all those. Definitely thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful for West Coast demo team and Loop Kicks. Alex is thankful he's a Vikings fan. Yes. There's so many. There's so many great things. But yeah, I'm thankful for being able to just learn all kinds of different weapons. I'm thankful for water bottles, you know.
Water bottles.
Thankful for water bottles and yeah, boards, you know, all those things that I break over my head before I compete. So, oh man. Oh, mini disc players. I
I
definitely
want. This
for.
is crazy. Mini disc players.
Man. All right. So this has been a great episode. I am, gonna have I'm gonna have a busy 2 days fitting in all of my private lessons in 2 days that I normally would have in a week. So I'm gonna be doing that the next 2 days, then having some fun. Happy anniversary on Wednesday night. We're gonna celebrate my parents' 42nd wedding anniversary. So that will be happening, and then we'll have Thanksgiving, and then Friday morning we're doing a workout 9 to 12:30 a.m. and I am leaving from there and going down to WrestleCade in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I'm going to go to a wrestling convention and finally meet the guy who inspired me to do martial arts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I'm also going to get to meet Sonny Ono. So both guys that were from one inspired my sport career. My karate career. The other one was the champion in sport karate in the 80s and moved on to pro wrestling. So it's going to be pretty exciting. And I'm going to take my gray belt and get him to sign it, dude. I just am, my gray belt that I wear all the time. So yeah, I know that seems crazy, but
it does seem crazy. Don't you want to just get Don't you want to get like a different belt, just like a plain black belt? Have him sign that, and then you can you can put it like up and you can display it. Wouldn't you rather do that?
I'm doing that too. It may cost me a lot of money, all right? All these autographs, but it's all right, man. Like this is an important deal because,
yeah.
So it's cool and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I usually don't do things that don't involve martial arts or in some way that, I feel like, oh well, it's martial arts, so it's my business, so I'll do it. And so I'm just glad I'm taking the time to do something fun like this. So
you guys doing a Thanksgiving dinner? How many people are you gonna have? And what are you guys eating?
I don't know. We're eating a lot of turkey and all the good stuff.
I started thinking about this, right? And so I'm gonna do the Thanksgiving dinner here, right? I'm gonna do it. And
we're doing my parents' house, so we're not doing it. We usually don't do it.
But I started thinking, and I'm like, well, since I'm doing it, let's go back. Let's actually think about what did these pilgrims and natives? What did they? It wasn't just the turkey, right? The turkey, I feel like, is propaganda.
No,
what's most likely was pheasant.
Yes, pheasant.
Deer, right? Venison, right?
Yeah.
Or even geese. So tomorrow,
that's what you're gonna have.
I'm gonna go get some venison. I'm gonna go get some. See if I don't know if I can get some duck. Right? Have you ever had duck?
Since you're trying to go really original, go out there and kill it yourself, man. Come on.
No, I'm all right. Dude, I'm in Illinois. You can't just go. You can't just go to. Yeah, there's no. See, that's the cool. I will say actually, this is a really cool thing about where we live is you're in Illinois, which is like the Chicagoland area. Like it's the freaking best, right? Mm-hmm. And I could go 6, 7, 8 minutes, and you can like west of me, and it could look like you're 3.5 hours away, right? However, I still am in the state of Illinois, which makes it very challenging to hunt wherever you want to hunt. Yeah, there's other ways around it, but it's whatever. But no, if I'm doing that, it'd just be better to go to Wisconsin, which I'm not going to do. So,
yeah. But yeah, man, it's going to be a great Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's a lot of fun. A lot of he said, "Come to Maine to hunt."
Maine, dude. I've never even been to Maine.
I think maybe just a little bit, but yeah.
I would go to Maine just to be like, what is Maine?
Yeah.
Like the only thing I know about Maine, isn't that kid Cooper Flagg? Isn't he from Maine? I think he's from Maine.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. What is Maine? No, now you're here, TJ. What is Maine's biggest thing? The only thing I know that like Maine's got its big thing is that there's also a Portland there.
Where are the Hamptons at? Isn't that in Maine?
I have no idea. Like I've been there.
Oh, that's where that was. No, that's maybe.
I would like to know. What is Maine most known for? Like if Chicago, you would say like, I don't know, the Blues, deep dish pizza, hot dogs, and I don't know, getting shot. I don't know. Right?
Lee says hunting.
Basketball. All right. Hunting. I mean,
Oh yeah, Maine
Maine
lobster.
lobster. Okay, that's a good point. But
He's
I don't know.
saying
Is it that much? Is Maine lobster that much better than like
it's good.
in Rhode Island
No,
or
it's
Mass? No ways.
yeah.
I'd see that would seem strange to me.
My
That
dad
there'd
said
be a
he's
lot
had
of meat.
always some great hunting and fishing up there.
I would love me some fish.
Oh,
with you.
moose. You got some moose.
Dude, that is freaking
I
scary.
didn't realize that. That's cool.
Do you know how freaking scary if you see a moose, because moose, they charge and they don't freaking stop. Right. So this is a true, and we got to go. All right. But this is the thing. Right. So this is when my dad lived. Now he moved to Florida. How freaking crazy is that? Right. But he used to live in this tiny unincorporated township called Castle Danger, Minnesota, which is like 4 hours north of Minneapolis. Right. It's nutty. Right. So he's up there, and like he would just you just walk out, see his windows, and just look and be like, oh, there's 8 deer in my front yard. Like that's a thing, right? And you'd be like, oh yeah, the other day I saw a badger, right? Like a badger. You're like, yeah, he just wait and he goes and does his thing and he's gone. Like that's crazy, right? But then he's like, I saw a moose. I opened up my bedroom window. I just kind of opened up the shades. I saw a moose, and he's like, I got so freaking scared that the moose might have seen me, because if the moose sees you, it can get intimidated and it can just make a decision that like, I'm gonna run through you and everything else. Look at see, just saying, a moose ran through a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. He said,
it will just go. And look at those freaking antlers that thing's got. Like you're gonna stop that thing,
right?
You're gonna shoot it. You're just gonna hit the antlers and it's gonna ricochet. Get out of here.
Lee said it's the best meat.
That would be cool. I will eat whatever you shoot, Leandro. I'm not gonna mess with shooting the moose. No way.
Oh man, this has been a fun show, man. I tell you what, the past couple of weeks when we just been vibing and talking, it's been a lot of fun. I hope everyone shares the show and tells everybody about it, and that you enjoy it this weekend while you're driving to your Thanksgiving lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever you do, or you're going out shopping, you're driving back and forth on Black Friday, or this weekend, or whatever you're doing. So he got it. Oh yeah, that's right. You did get a bear last year. I forgot about that.
Shot a bear?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is that me? Can you eat that? What does that taste like? I can't imagine that tastes good. There's no way. There's no way that tastes good. What did we learn today? What did we learn? We learned that Maine has quite a bit to offer, mainly fishing and hunting, and a little bit of coffee. We learned that Troy Sexton got slimed on national TV.
It's true.
We learned that Jeff saw someone get reverse punched right in the nuts.
He says the worst meat. Spicy and tough.
Spicy.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I guess that makes sense with it being that way. I've seen it like bear jerky, but never. Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I'm gonna go. You know what? When I go check to see if they got venison tomorrow, maybe I'll look and be like, say, hey man, I know you guys probably got some like bison burgers back here and things like that. You guys ever got any bear? They gotta have some, because there's different bears, right? There's gotta have. The thing about the bear, like I would actually try this. You know why? Because a bear has no predator.
Right.
A bear has no predator. They are it, right? So like they are absolutely terrifying. A bear.
Yeah.
Because so I'd try it to be like, I ate the top of the food chain, that would be kind of cool. And then you'd be like, this sucked. I need some fettuccine to go with this.
Fettuccine and bear.
I'm gonna see if they got duck. I put duck in fettuccine. That would be really good.
Duck's good. Oh man. All right, Alex. Thank you guys. All the insiders. This has been a fun show. Thank you guys for supporting. If you're able to, go watch the show tomorrow with Amanda. And thanks to KTOC for all you've done for the sport and having a great event. Congrats.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Happy Thanksgiving.